last thing that we're going to talk about today is more formulas. Today we're going to start looking at volumes and surface areas of what? Sphere. Simply a round ball, okay? So the question, very, very straightforward. How can you find the surface area and the volume of a sphere? So your goals, find the surface areas of spheres and find the volumes of spheres. Very simple, okay? First of all, we all know what a sphere is, right? Yeah, it's like a three-dimensional circle, okay? It's just rotated. It's basically a ball, right? Right? So, vocab-wise, pretty simple. First one is a chord of a sphere. Much like a chord of a circle, it's a segment whose endpoints are on a what? Okay, now does this chord go through the center up here in this example? No. Okay? You're going to hear things like great circle. The great circle is the intersection of a plane or a flat surface and a sphere such that the plane contains the what? Okay, so it's basically going to go through the sphere and make the widest circle possible. Okay? You know what a sphere is? It's a solid round figure or its surface with every point on its surface equidistant from the center. What's true about every point on a sphere from my center right here? Yep, it's going to be equal out there. And this distance would be called from center to any point on the sphere would be called the what? Okay, the center of the sphere, I'm not going to make this too difficult. It's the point that's equidistant from all points on the sphere. So the center right here, diameter, radius. This is a great diagram right here. This diagram right here is really good. It's got everything in there. All right. Next page, more terms. The radius of a sphere we've talked about. I think the visuals do it well. Do it justice. Is that right? Okay. Diameter of a sphere. Any questions there? Diameter is a chord that has to pass through the what? It's got to pass through the center like this red line does. Okay? Hemisphere. What's that?
Half a sphere.
Half a sphere. Okay, it's like taking the ball and cutting it equally in half. Okay? By the way, what kind of circle would that be called on the bottom then? Great circle. This is the largest circle. The rest will be the plane intersects because it goes through the center. Okay? Let's get jumping here. Good push. The surface area S of a sphere is what, kids? Okay, it's another formula. 4 times pi times r squared. All right? Not going to make this too difficult, but what does r represent again? Okay, so let's talk about a couple of examples down below here. All right? Example 1 says find the what?
Surface area.
Okay. Find the surface area of each sphere. So in part A, surface area formula again, kids? Okay, so we're going to have equal to 4 times pi times r squared. Now, order of operations would say take the radius and square it first, okay? Most of your calculators will do that for you. But for my surface area S in example A, I would have 4 times pi times, what am I putting in for radius, kids? Be careful.
Divided by 2.
Yeah, because that 3 is a diameter, isn't it?
By 5.
So it'll be 1 point.
What you could do is put 3 in there, but put a division sign.
Okay. So somebody run that number for me. 28.3. I think I like that. You guys all getting 28.3?
I sure hope so.
It's a surface area, kids. So this would be 28.3 what?
It ain't squared.
Surface area. What am I putting out here? Okay. All right. Part B says, hey, I have a great circle here around our sphere. And the C standing for what? The circumference of that great circle is what? 15 pi. We need to remember some things. Our job is still to find the surface area. So let's talk here. If C is equal to 15 pi, circumference is equal to pi times diameter, isn't it, kids? Would you guys agree with that? What's the circumference here, kids? 15 pi. So let's talk about this. The circumference is 15 pi. That's got to equal pi times diameter. I can't find surface area of a sphere until I know a radius. Okay? Is there a way to solve for the diameter right up there first, kids? Divide both sides by pi. So let's talk here. When I divide both sides by pi, what's that make the diameter? So my diameter is 15. Once I know the diameter is 15, kids, what do we know? Would you know the radius?
Yes.
What is the radius?
7.5.
How much?
7.5.
Okay, so the radius from this mess right here is 7.5. You guys find my surface area of that sphere now, knowing that the radius is 7.5. And I guess while you're figuring that, I guess my question is this. Are they just going to give you the information you need, or sometimes we're going to have to come up with it sometimes before we can progress? Yep. So we had to find the radius in both cases. When I do surface area equals 4 times pi times 7.5 squared. What are you guys coming up with for surface area?
Wait, so do you square the radius or do you square it all?
Square just the radius.
Okay.
So you would do 7.5 squared times 4 times pi. Anybody confirm 706.9 for me?
That is correct, Armando.
Awesome. Bree, talk to me. 706.9. How about a unit to attach to this? Square meters. Very good. Guys, what's your formula for the surface area of a sphere? 4 times pi times radius squared. Okay? Again, everything in this chapter formula driven. So when we get ready to test, you're going to want to make sure you have what with you? Notes. Tomorrow, by the way, have all your notes on your work time, because I did do an 11.1 through 11.3 checkpoint. We're going to check them all, so all your notes tomorrow, kind of a biggie. So if you have them all, you pretty much an easy 35 points over here. Okay, so make sure you have all your notes organized. Show them to me tomorrow. Guys, okay with that? Eli, if you've got to get stuff down, make sure you do that. But I think you've gotten most everything you need there, right? Okay. All right, questions on the second page? Ready to move to 3? Yes, no, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's talk. Finding the diameter of a sphere. It says find the diameter of a sphere with surface area 144 pi square centimeters. Anybody have thoughts on how to start this? Anytime I try to find something, I always like to start out by doing what? Plugging stuff in. I always like to write the formula. Well, we've been dealing with what, kids? Spheres, and specifically volume or surface area. So I'm gonna write this. My surface area of a sphere is 4 times pi times radius squared. Okay? I'm done talking. You guys run me through this. What do I need to do? Find the diameter here.
Plug 1.4 pi into the
Okay, so 144 pi is my surface area. That's going to equal 4 pi r squared. Okay? That's going to allow us to solve for what, kids? The radius, exactly. And once we know the radius, when we find the radius, can we use that to find the... Okay, so talk me through this. What do you want to do first? Divide by pi. So in each case, or in each side, what happens to pi, really? It basically drops out, right? Here and there. So I've got 144 equals 4 r squared. Now what? So from here we divide by 4. And what we end up with is r squared equals what? So that's nice. 36 being a perfect square. What's that make the radius? What are we asked to find, though? So once I know the radius to be 6, that makes the diameter 12. And we were in square centimeters for a surface area, so the diameter would be 12 centimeters. Okay. Quick question. What's the formula for surface area of a sphere again? 4 pi r squared. Can you find surface areas once you know the radius? Can you work backwards and use that formula to give us some information? Okay. Question so far about surface area. Since the question said we need to talk about how you find the surface area and what else. Next core concept then, if you read that, it says the volume of a sphere is what?
4/3 pi r
Yep, and I kind of screwed this up. I'm going to rewrite this. It should be volume. You can maybe see it better down here, but volume is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Now, I want you to be careful punching this one in. Okay? I want you to be very careful punching this in. What I think you guys should do as an alternative, you could do it like this, but you would want to make sure you use parentheses. You could type it in your calculators like this. You could say V, you'd start with a parenthesis like this. And you would type in 4 times pi times r to the 3rd power. Another parenthesis like that. Okay? And then really the last step, that 4/3, I multiplied everything by 4, divide by 3. So we're going to make sure we've got calculator stuff working here. Same sphere as in example 1. Instead of doing surface area, they're asking for what here, kids? All right, let's try this.
Freaking
The volume, how many cubic units inside this? Here we go. What's the radius going to be in this situation, kids? Yeah, you got it, 1.5 feet. So my volume here, I think if you punch in your calculator like this, volume is going to be 4 times pi times 1.5 to the, what power? Make sure you put your parenthesis in after that. Divide that whole thing by 3. Let's make sure we all agree on the number of cubic meters. I'm sorry, cubic feet in that. Or if you aren't sure, do 1.5 to the 3rd first, then times by pi, then times by 4,
14.13.
then divide by 3. 14.13. It'd be a 2, it'd be a 6, it'd be a 1. Yeah, I think it could be around that. Somebody concur with her. What'd you get? 14.13. Let's have a third one right here. 14.13. It's a volume, kids. Okay. Let's see how good you guys are. Says the surface area of a sphere is 676 pi square inches. What do we need to find? Oh my gosh. Well, I can't find the volume without knowing what.
Radius.
So we've got to figure out how to use the, or get the radius. Okay, so let's talk, kids. Right here, they tell us what? What's your formula for surface area again, kids? So wouldn't 676 pi, kids? What's the formula again? I just heard it. I forgot it already. 4 pi r squared.
Radius is
What are the pi values going to do to each other? They're going to dump each other. 676 divided by 4. Geez, Parson, pick the hard one. 338. 169.
Yeah.
So the radius is how much?
13.
Okay, so once we've established the radius being 13, can we find the volume now?
Yeah.
What's the volume formula? So do you guys agree that we could say the volume would be, in parentheses, don't forget that, 4 times, let's see, we know the radius, kids?
Yeah.
13 to the, all over,
9,202.7.
9,000. 202.7.
Yeah.
And it's a volume. We were square inches for surface area, so this would be 9,202 cubic inches. What do you guys think? Again, really, how many formulas to use? Just 2. You really just need to know 2. That's it. let's see where we're at now. Page 4. Oh my gosh, this darn composite thing. Looks like it does, doesn't it? Okay. Do you guys agree it's like a cylinder with a hemisphere on it?
Yes.
So if I would turn it sideways, we could deal with that. But let's treat it like it's a cylinder and what else? What do we have to find here, kids?
The Mario bullet drop? Yeah, I'm gonna draw the mouth.
Let's do a cylinder part. What's the volume formula for a cylinder, kids? This first part right here on the left. Pi r squared times its height. Now it's kind of laying on its side, so its height's really how much here, kids? What's the radius going to be down? 6, isn't it? So the cylinder part, that volume would be pi times radius squared, 6. What's the height of the cylinder part, kids? 10. So see what that value is.
See
what that value is.
Look.
1,130.
Mario.
Yeah, it is. How much again? I'm sorry. 1,000. How in the world am I going to find the volume of that hemisphere, kids? We know how to find the volume of a sphere. Treat it like it's a whole sphere. And then once I have that volume, cut it in. All right. Let's do that. So, oh boy, that volume formula for a sphere again. I've forgotten. Remind me. Can I just put the radius in? What is the radius? 6 to what power? Going to divide this answer by... Okay, so see what that equals first. This would be, again, understand, this would be like a whole sphere right here, wouldn't it? How much volume am I adding to that cylinder? A whole sphere's worth or a half a sphere worth?
Oh.
What's that number right up there as it's written? 904. Now, you haven't divided by 2 yet, have you? Okay. So you've got 904 point. But this would be if it was what kind of a sphere, kids? We need how much more? So what do we have to do to the 904.8? 452.38. Can I round to 452.4? So the half part of it would be 452.4. That's that half part. So what am I going to do with this value and this value here to get a total volume? Okay, so your total volume is going to be what, kids? 1,583.3 cubic inches. Very good, kids. Surface area formula for a sphere, one more time. Careful, 4 pi r squared. Volume formula there, Leighton. 4/3 pi r cubed, right? Okay, here's what I want to have happen here, a remainder of the hour.